Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. And also keep in mind, these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as, investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy. Alright folks, here we are after market close on Wednesday, December 1st. We're going to take a look at SoFi. Stuttering my way through this incredible downturn that we've had here the past several days, but I mean also the market just doing crazy things today. I mean being up, like about 2 points, nearly at given times during the day, nearly 2 points up, and then to finish down nearly 2 points. I mean it's a wild ride. I mean, you look at the QQQ from today. I mean, we're up over 400 at 1 point. And then finishing down here at this 386.26 that we had, put on the chart as supports. And at this point, just putting in these really, really wild days. That said, it is at the top of this channel. And so coming back into the center of the channel is not like the craziest thing in the world. But it does feel crazy to have these wildly erratic intraday motions, especially when folks, I think, are generally fearful of a lot of things. That we're overextended, that the inflation's not transitory, that the easy money policies are maybe coming to an end, and maybe interest rates are going to rise, and that's going to be hard on the market and additionally hard on growth stocks. And fears of the new variant and shutting down and things like that. So, I mean, it's a lot to digest. It's a lot to deal with. And SoFi definitely just catching the brunt of a lot of that. Now, setting all of that aside, looking just at what happened with the chart today, and then we'll zoom out to the daily, trying really hard at open to get over the 1752. This is potentially faked out some folks, right? This confirmation off the VWAP, but what essentially ended up happening is it just topped out here in this area, right? Had all of this topping out, just couldn't breach it and flip it to support. That's always the key. People get confused a lot between losing support or extending through resistance. The key is not that it's extended below support, that it's extended above resistance. The key is, what do the next candles do? Do the next candles confirm a flip from support to resistance, or from resistance to support, or do they just start kind of waffling back and forth on that level and waiting to make a decision on it? Because there's a big difference between waffling on a level and flipping it, right? Like this here, it was just kind of waffling. This is a prime example, right? This is not this like losing this support yet, right? It's came down, stabilized, and then what did it do? It came and made a run up. And what did it do when it first hit this level? Well, it just kind of started wrestling with it. And then it lost it again, and then it established below, right? It establishes these ranges. Every larger movement that we talk about on the daily, for example, all the larger movements, we talk about consolidation and then range break and then movement, there's all of those same patterns and same configurations in miniature on any intraday chart or on any time frame. They exist, right? So this is just to say, it didn't lose support here because all that it did was it just kind of scooped back up and wrestled with the level. Then what ended up happening, a hard rejection off of it here, and range for a few minutes, and then a break of the range down, right? So it was losing this level. That was the key. It was losing that 1669. That ultimately meant that it lost the 1681 support, if that makes sense. But, I'm not a big proponent of, the minute the candle breaks that level, or breaks this level to the upside, that means that's now the new whatever. I always wait to see what it does when it tries to reconfirm that level, right? And here we saw it come down near the level. And again, the challenging part about something like this intraday And sorry if I'm belaboring this intraday stuff and it's not interesting to folks, but if it is, when you're trapped between the VWAP above and a support level below, it can be quite challenging because you have the bounce off the support, but then you immediately have the rejection off the VWAP, and one of those things has to give way. And often on an intraday movement, I feel like the VWAP has more clout, has more power and stamina than just a given longer term support and resistance level. And so you see that play out pretty solidly here. Fell through, confirmed the VWAP once, but then it couldn't hold it for the second time. Confirmed this 1752 support zone, but then immediately hit resistance in the VWAP, and then it had nothing left in the tank, right? It tried to hold that same level for about 4 minutes and came through, and then it confirmed resistance here. Started moving away, consolidated, reconfirmed resistance, right? That's when it's really like, bounced off this twice, right? The sellers were definitely there. So nothing good is probably going to come of this. So coming down here, and then we wrestled with 1681 for a while, and at this point, settling down, definitely below that level. Now, I'm not going to put in a particular support level at the moment. I changed my mind. We're going to go 1596 is looking really, really good to me. So I would put 1596 at the moment, and then, but what I would say is my ideal scenario here, and I know that for several of these days now, my ideal scenario has not meant anything. But my ideal scenario here is that we get this long-term uptrend support to hold. This was something I mentioned yesterday, but this has been in play since mid-August, and it came in from the lowest points since this 1314, which was just a wick, like a long extended wick. This is more like the body of that candle is nearly at this 1356. So the lowest price point in a long time has held the uptrend since then. And though I know the wick extended below today, similarly, I look at these trend lines the same, that the trend line truly breaks and it fully loses that support when it flips it to resistance. And you see it doing that with these levels up here, right? So that's what I would look for. But, I want to put in this 1596, and who knows? I mean, if there's another 80-cent sell-off day or $1 sell-off day, who knows what. This 1596 might be out of play too. So now I might really be going against what I had just said and put in another level at 1517. Let's see if that looks right. Yeah. This is encompassing a lot of support and resistance through and through. Might be a little bit on the optimistic side, meaning that support might be a little bit lower, closer to the 15 level, but that's also the strong psychological level too, right? It's the actual dollar increments. So to my mind, this is what we're looking at on the chart for the time being. Since we haven't looked at them for a while, pulling in the MACD, it's not looking as though the bearish momentum is wanting to subside in any meaningful way, holding pretty strong through all of these downturns. The RSI at this point, stretching nearly into oversold territory, but to the extent to which that really means a lot, I think it's pretty questionable. The MA now, this red MA, I know this is hard to look at, but this red MA line here, acting as resistance at the moment, right? We thought we had support on it here, and then it lost it, flips it to resistance. And so it's just, fully in a downturn at the moment. Who knows if the entire market is going that way? I certainly don't know. But not a great motion today when you flip from that green to that red. That's a pretty tough pill to swallow. And so I would just say, to the extent to which you haven't gotten your risk in order, I mean, hopefully you just kind of always keep your risk in order. But in certain situations where things start to cumulatively feel a little bit additionally challenged. And there is a lot of creeping fear in the markets, a lot of the things that I rattled off at the beginning. And I'm not even that great at sort of logging all of the factors in the market. There's probably many more that I'm even mentioning that are sort of infusing some fear and uncertainty and doubt, aka FUD, into the market. To the extent to which you feel those things creeping in to life, and you notice them start cropping up, putting in additional tighter risk management levels isn't necessarily the worst thing. I know different folks have different experiences, but this is my channel, so I'll share mine. In my experience, it's not the lack of having green days that has blown up my account. It's been my inability to manage downturns in any given stock, in any given position, and in the market as a whole that has blown up my account. Fighting the trend too much, trying to catch the falling knife, ignoring the signs that are out there that things are turning a certain way. I even did it when there was the crash in 2020. I even caught myself doing it, right? Because I was like, wait a minute, you're doing a crazy thing here that you have. This is like my worst habit, is this thing that I'm describing right now. But when we had the big fall, right, I got very into the mode of like buying put options and playing SQQQ and all of these things. And when we had that swing, it took me longer than I would have liked it to recognize, hey, there's a clear trend change here. And so you need to set aside the things that you're holding bags on and reallocate that capital to the way that the trend is moving. And for some folks, for me, for example, it wouldn't feel right for me to come in and buy put options on SoFi and stuff like that. I would rather just sit on the sideline and park my capital on the sideline, just sit in cash, as folks say. So sometimes cash is the right movement, right? If you don't want to play the downturn. A lot of folks find it challenging to play the downturn because they just don't read the chart as well as they do when a stock is showing bull signs. So I understand all of these things. And sorry if this is a weird diatribe. To me, there's not a ton additional stuff to add into the chart besides what I've already described, putting in a few extra support zones, pointing out the trend support and the market factors. But this is just to say, if you haven't tightened your risk profile and sort of put in place some safeguards and really understand what's at risk and what you're holding and why, and if you should be, I would just encourage you to constantly do that, but especially do that at points when the market seems a bit in flux or uncertain or tenuous. All right, folks. I hope your trading week is going well, and I appreciate you watching. There's a bunch of stuff in the description below if you want to keep up with me in different places, support the channel, those sorts of things. Always appreciate that. You will see a bunch of wins that I've been logging lately on my Twitter. So if you want to go there, scope out what's been coming, that again will recreate the feed that I'm going to be having on my subscription service. I'm questioning the Patreon situation at the moment. I've read some things that make me a little reluctant. So I'm looking at alternatives because I don't want to have a big immediate hiccup to kick things off with. I want to, like I said, hit the ground running, have put a lot of thoughts and effort and set things up the way that I want them to be, as opposed to feeling like I need to rush it out. No need to rush it out. All right. I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.